Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films and talk about them. And that was actually a 35mm film from the National Archives that was shot at sound speed. I'm sorry, shot at silent speed and then shown it and scanned at sound speed. So that's why everybody was going so fast. There wasn't a lot of coffee being consumed to make everybody jittery. It was because the playback speed was not correct. And that's a common thing that we have seen. And I try to be good about fixing it, but that one snuck up on me because I was putting together this show. So behind me is, which way is my finger going? Behind me is the Thanksgiving clown painting that I donated to the Found Footage Festival because they dressed up as the clowns from that. And Burrow Owl, who is a frequent commenter, sent me this glorious AI of the clown Thanksgiving. And then I like the boy. Oh my God, there's a thing in the upper right. The boy is serving his own head as opposed to a pie. So, yeah, big fan. Thank you, Burrow Owl. And also, Old Radios does this as well, periodically. And sometimes I have time to show it, sometimes I don't. But I do appreciate your art, whether it's AI generated or hand generated. So, thank you. I know what you're thinking. We can't have a Thursday without making a list, and an outline is definitely a list. So here we go, building a list by the company that is excellent at creating lists, Coronet Films. Enjoy.
In this American history class, written reports from last week are to be handed back. Here, as in many other classes and studies, written reports are an important part of the work. Jim worked hard on his report. Bill put a lot of time into his, too. But it was hard for him. Hard to keep his materials in order. Hard to plan a coherent report. Because orderly planning of reports is so important, Miss Clark is asking for a working outline with the next assignment. Bill thinks outlines are unnecessary work, but skill in building an outline might help him. Lack of outline planning. Oh, well, it's still a fair paper. It got by. Bill and Jim plan to use the next study period in the library. But how did Jim make out? Bill is curious because he knows he spent more time reading and gathering material than Jim did. Look at that. Very good. And what's this? A good outline saves work. Bill doesn't see it. The time it takes to outline, you could spend reading more material. But Jim will save time by investing study time in outlines. Knowing how to outline his work may save time later. What's on that card? Oh, the topic he's chosen. Benjamin Franklin, Diplomat General. But first, he's made a note to do a little extra reading on how to make good outlines. Meanwhile, Bill is off to a flying start on his topic. 20 minutes later, Jim hasn't even touched a history book. Yet he must be finding something good in this one. Making outlines and summaries. That's right to the point. And of course, Jim takes careful notes. That's rather like outlining, too. Reducing material you read to an organized list of its main ideas. But Bill is worried about Jim. Thinks he ought to be finding facts about Franklin. Well, Jim wants to learn first how to organize his facts so they have orderly meaning. An outline spreads out your thinking so you can look at it and plan the use of your ideas. Jim is listing various uses for outlines. Yes, outlines can be used for many purposes, and one of the most important uses is helping to understand written materials, such as the book Jim is now studying. And now, as long as he's taking notes on the book, why not arrange them in outline form? First, when to use an outline. When reading books, when planning study, as a first step in writing a report. How to make an outline will be the second main topic, Roman numeral 2. But Jim will have to collect some more information on how to make an outline. Somewhere in this chapter, here it is, a section on the mechanics of outlining. That's just what Jim wanted. He already knows that one of the steps in building an outline is finding main topics and subtopics. Main topics, the most important key ideas, and subtopics, the helping ideas, which explain their main topics. And of course, subtopics are indented and given different numbering than main topics. And so, in very little time, Jim has made a rough outline of the points he needs to consider in using outlines and making outlines in any of his studies. Plenty of time left to get the first few books he'll need for his report. But Bill seems to have too many books to handle without an outline. That evening, Jim revises and polishes his outline on outlining. Let's go over Jim's outline once more. First, using an outline. Some of the most valuable uses are to understand written material, to plan study, and to plan a theme or report. The steps in building an outline are finding main topics and subtopics, showing emphasis by means of indentation and letters and numerals. But now he has added one more, wording topics effectively. So Jim is using an outline to plan a written report, and he is well along on the first step in building an outline. He has selected his main topics on the basis of his library reading. Now, as he reads further, he can place almost any related facts as subtopics to these 4 main topics. This is one of the big time savers that come from making an outline. As a further step in organizing his material, Jim keeps note cards on his reading, identifying the book from which each fact or idea came. In this book, for example, he found some information on Franklin's work in raising money to help the revolution. As he reads the section for the second time, Jim takes notes on it, so the information will be right at hand when he starts his paper. He also adds a subtopic to his outline on Franklin. Under main topic 3 comes subtopic A. Franklin helps raise French financing for the American Revolution. And to help keep his note cards in order for writing the report, Jim jots down on the card its place in the outline. Now Jim's outline serves another purpose. It not only helps him plan his thinking about the report, it also helps him keep his notes in order. But the outline is still flexible. As Jim reads further, he can change and revise it. His ideas are down on paper, so he can organize and plan them into a logical order. He has found a subtopic which should come before the other. Well, that's easy to handle. If they don't fit together in one order, he can change the order now before he starts writing the report. And so, chances are, when Jim has completed his outline, he'll have a real foundation for an orderly report, and he'll save time in writing it. The day the history reports are due, Jim has his all finished, and with time to spare. But Bill still has to copy the rest of his rough draft. And uh-oh, he has no outline. Bill's been in this spot before. Outlines are easy to write up. All you have to do is lift the outline right out of the report. Then it's sure to be an outline of what you wrote. But Bill's report is not well organized, and the outline will show it. Bill can't make a good outline from a poorly organized report. If his outline is right, the report will be wrong. Have to think fast, Bill. Somehow or other, Bill did manage to hand in his report that day. And today it's being returned. It's the same story this time as last. Bill worked long and hard on his report, but Jim's carefully organized effort shows up in a better grade. And say, here's an idea. Try outlining your reading assignments. Jim had that in his outline of outlining, but he should try it. He can still improve his work. Well, Bill, how about yours? Come on, Bill, give up and look at it. Not good, huh? You mean not even fair? Too bad. But Bill seems to be making up his mind to really learn something about outlines. What Jim can do, anyone can do.
Oh, Bill, when will you ever learn? I mean, that's the thing is, I don't feel like I was really properly trained how to do outlines, because outlines do really make it easy to write a paper once you've done it. So, I don't know. It's kind of like teaching cursive. At some point, they just stopped teaching cursive, and you were supposed to just kind of be good at it or not, and I was not. So my handwriting was horrible, and there was no, like, hey, this guy needs help. We should have him do more cursive. And of course, the whole idea of cursive writing is a complete waste of my time at this point, as I do everything in longhand. Here's some newsreels from 1939. Enjoy.
Sir, we must go back to 1879. Bismarck, Iron Chancellor of Germany, knows that France wants revenge for her humiliating defeat in the Franco-Prussian War. To thwart her, he seeks alliances. Austria, whose ruler has ambitions in the Balkans, is receptive to Bismarck's scheme. So Austria and the Reich sign a secret military agreement pledging reciprocal aid if either nation is attacked by an aggressive power. 3 years later, in 1882, the agreement is extended to Italy, which has ambitions in the Mediterranean. Thus, the Triple Alliance is formed. Backed by a military force of more than 2 million men, the Triple Alliance dominates Central Europe from the Baltic to the Mediterranean. 1900, William II becomes Emperor of Germany. He dismisses the ruthless but cautious Bismarck and launches an aggressive foreign policy of Weltpolitik. Germany, says the new emperor, must take an important place in world affairs. The Kaiser dreams of a German-dominated Central European empire linked with Asia by a Berlin to Baghdad railway. This road, controlled by the Reich, is to run through Austria-Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Turkey, and thence to Asia. Only tiny Serbia, outside the German orbit, blocks the grandiose scheme, and Austria's ruler will gladly cooperate, if necessary, in crushing the little Balkan nation. But the Kaiser must reckon with France and Russia, which have become alarmed at Germany's growing power. In 1892, these nations signed a secret military agreement of their own, pledging mutual aid should either be attacked by the German combination. Diplomats call this Franco-Russian pact the Dual Alliance. The Kaiser must also reckon with King Edward VII of Britain and British sea power. England is jittery because the German combination, plus the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, has upset the balance of power in Europe. In addition, various inroads on British trade. The Reich is building battleships. Feeling herself menaced, seems ready to line up with France and Russia. 1904, overlooking her traditional jealousy of France, England signs a pact whereby Paris and London agree to work together in foreign affairs for their mutual advantage. This pact is not a military alliance. Its friendly character is indicated by its name, the Entente Cordiale. Nevertheless, it gives the Kaiser something to think about. 3 years later, this agreement is extended to Russia. The Entente Cordiale thus becomes the Triple Entente. But Kaiser is furious. He claims that Germany's enemies seek to encircle her. As an extra irritation, Italy, his Triple Alliance partner, comes to an understanding with France and Russia. Thus, Italy has a hand in each of the rival European combinations. In the event of war, she can join the side that offers most. Morocco, 1905. Europe's first war of nerves is underway. Germany bluntly questions France's right to expand in Morocco. An international conference follows, and the matter is decided in favor of France. In 1908, Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria-Hungary announces the annexation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, a blow to the nationalistic ambitions of Serbia. The Tsar of Russia backs Serbia as a sister Slavic nation and an enemy of the Central Powers. He protests Austria's action and is supported by England. But Germany sides with Austria. Russia, weakened by her war with Japan, has to yield. So Bosnia-Herzegovina is recognized as Austrian territory. It is a great diplomatic victory for the German combination, but it breeds hatred and fear in the Serbs. 1911, another crisis over Morocco. Germany sends a warship to Agadir and informs France she has no right to annex Morocco. England quickly sides with France. David Lloyd George, now Chancellor of the Exchequer, speaks for the British government. Says the Welshman, if peace can be maintained only by allowing Britain to be treated as if she were no account in the Cabinet of Nations, then I say emphatically that peace at that price would be intolerable. But war over Morocco is averted when Germany receives concessions in Africa. 1913, crisis in the Balkans. King Peter of Serbia, following a victorious Balkan war over Turkey, orders occupation of several ports on the Adriatic. The Austrian government takes alarm. A strong Serbian state might draw millions of Serbs from within Austria's borders and start the downfall of the empire. Austrian troops are dispatched to the border. The Kaiser also is worried. A strong Serbia would threaten his Berlin to Baghdad dream. Russia again backs Serbia. Once more the war clouds loom. But again they dissolve. England and Germany persuade the Serbs to evacuate the Adriatic ports. An independent state of Albania is formed on the coast. Serb leaders are denied their cherished ambition, an outlet to the sea. Meanwhile, the munition makers have been very busy. In Germany, France, England, they turn out guns, shells, warships. Selling to potential enemies as well as friends, they have armed Europe to the teeth. And so again, 1914, Europe still hopes for peace, but is ready for war. June 28th, Archduke Ferdinand, nephew of Franz Joseph and heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is assassinated with his wife in Sarajevo, capital of Bosnia. The killer is a Serb, but an Austrian subject. Austria blames Serbia, and public feeling mounts rapidly. The Kaiser assures Franz Joseph he will stand by him regardless of what action Austria decides to take. Days pass with no action. Then, on July 23rd, Austria-Hungary, influenced by the German military clique, sends an ultimatum demanding that Serbia accept within 48 hours terms which practically mean national extinction. Frantic diplomatic activity follows. Counseled by Russia and England, Serbia yields to most of the demands and offers to refer the rest to arbitration. But July 28th, Austria, urged on by Germany, declares war on Serbia. Thereupon, Russia mobilizes, but the Tsar promises the Kaiser to keep peace as long as a chance for peace remains. August 1st, Russia refuses to suspend mobilization. Germany declares war on Russia. France says she will do as her interests dictate and mobilizes. Italy remains neutral, for the Triple Alliance binds her only in a defensive war, not an aggressive one. Germany now demands that Belgium grant her permission to Belgian territory to invade France. August 3rd, Belgium refuses as Germany invades France. England, bound by treaty to defend Belgium's neutrality, essential to her own security, demands assurance that Germany will respect it. But Germany invades Belgium. August 4th, England declares war on Germany. The First World War has begun. In the West, German troops follow a prearranged plan. Smashing through Belgium, they drive deep into France. Paris, by October, the Germans shout. City after city falls. In the east, German troops under von Hindenburg crush the Russians at the Battle of Tannenberg. Then they invade Russia. The ill-equipped and badly led Russians become demoralized. In France, the Allied forces with their backs to Paris rally at the Marne and force the Germans back to the Aisne River. A new type of machine gun and trench warfare begins. The fighting reaches a deadlock that will remain for nearly 4 years as other nations enter the struggle. Montenegro, Japan, Portugal, and Romania join the Allies. But Turkey, straddling the strategic Dardanelles, joins the Central Powers. In 1915, the Allies win a diplomatic victory. Italy comes in on their side. The war now involves most of the world, with the exception of the Americas. War on the sea. In the Battle of Jutland, Germany tries to break the British blockade that is slowly strangling her. But British sea power is too strong, and British warships continue their patrols. So Germany resorts to unrestricted submarine warfare. In 1915, a U-boat sinks the Lusitania. 1,200 people, including 104 neutral Americans, are lost. The United States protests. Germany maintains she has no recourse but to continue the sub-sea warfare. American public opinion, aroused by the sinkings, plus Allied propaganda, financial and business interests, and German sabotage, becomes increasingly bitter against the Reich. Finally, President Woodrow Wilson severs diplomatic relations between the United States and Germany. On April 2nd, he addresses Congress, recommending that America declare war to make the world safe for democracy. April 6th, Congress passes a resolution which declares the United States and Germany are at war. Other neutrals follow the American example. They are Panama, Cuba, Siam, Liberia, China, Brazil, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Honduras. The conflict begun between Austria and Serbia has spread over the world. March 1917, revolution in Russia. A long-oppressed people rises against the Tsar, who is forced to abdicate. Bolsheviks, led by Nikolai Lenin and Leon Trotsky, establish a communist regime. With Russia racked by internal war, they are forced to conclude a separate peace with Germany. Prolonged negotiations culminate in 1918, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. Under the treaty, Russia loses 500,000 square miles and 65 million people. She surrenders Poland, Lithuania, Kurland, Livonia, and Estonia. She renounces all claims to Finland and the Ukraine and recognizes their independence. She gives up Yerevan and Kars in the Caucasus and the oil port of Batum to Turkey. She also agrees to pay Germany $1.5 billion. During the peace negotiations, Latvia, Finland, Lithuania, and Estonia declare their independence. Brest-Litovsk, one of the most humiliating treaties in history, completes the collapse of the old Russian Empire. Victorious in the east, Germany again takes the offensive in the west. Her troops smash through to the Marne. Allied forces again fight with their backs to Paris. But, led by General John J. Pershing, nearly 1 million American troops are now in France. They help slow the German drive. July 18th, Marshal Foch, commanding the combined Allied armies, declares, "Everyone is to attack as soon as he can, for as long as he can." A great offensive forces the Germans to withdraw from their dearly won positions. Again, the Marne is the scene of an Allied victory. The fresh Yankee troops hearten the weary Allies as Foch, in one mighty effort, throws his full strength into battle. The advance continues in the face of stubborn resistance. News comes of victories on other fronts. On September 29th, Bulgaria surrenders. On October 31st, Turkey signs an armistice. November 4th, Austria-Hungary quits, and prisoners taken in the relentless advance stream to the rear. In Germany, the people are faced with starvation caused by the British blockade. Revolution breaks out on November 9th. The Kaiser abdicates and flees to Holland. November 11th, 1918, an armistice is signed when delegates of the new German Republic meet Marshal Foch at Compiègne. The war is over. Crowds celebrate the end of the bloody struggle. It remains only to draw up the terms of peace. In December, President Wilson sails for France to conduct the negotiations for the United States. Wilson's 14 points were the basis for the armistice, and he now believes his idealistic dreams of a just peace and a strong League of Nations will prevail. At the historic Palace of Versailles in Paris, statesmen assemble to draw up the peace treaties. In January 1919, the first meeting of the Peace Conference opens. Here, Wilson insists that the League of Nations be an integral part of the peace treaty. And here he learns of the secret treaties concerning the spoils of war. These treaties, which include promises to Italy and other powers on the Allied side, threaten Wilson's ideals of a just peace. Also threatening them are the demands of embittered peoples and statesmen to make the Germans pay. The conference is dominated by Lloyd George, Wilson, Clemenceau of France, and Orlando of Italy. The Italian presently withdraws, leaving the others to carry on the work. July 28, 1919, the Treaty of Versailles is signed between the Allied powers and Germany. Let's see what this treaty does. First, it deprives Germany of all her colonies. German East Africa goes to Great Britain and to Belgium. The Cameroons are divided between Britain and France. British also get Togoland. Southwest Africa goes to the Union of South Africa. Germany's Samoan Islands go to New Zealand. Her Pacific Islands north of the equator, plus her rights to Kiao Chau and Shantung, China, go to Japan. Her islands south of the equator, plus German New Guinea, go to Australia. On her western front, Germany restores Alsace-Lorraine to France. Her frontier districts of Mornay, Eupen, and Malmedy go to Belgium. Her Saar district, rich in coal, is to be governed by the League of Nations with provisions for a plebiscite in 15 years to determine French or German ownership. The Reich also agrees to demilitarize the left bank of the Rhine in a zone 32 miles deep. On Germany's eastern front, Wilson's principle of self-determination is attempted. Poland is re-established, and districts inhabited chiefly by Poles are handed over to Poland. To give the Poles access to the sea, the Polish corridor is provided. Prussia. This corridor is criticized as a certain source of future trouble. In a plebiscite between Germany and Denmark, the province of Schleswig goes to Denmark. Danzig, overwhelmingly German, becomes a free city under League protection. Upper Silesia is to hold a plebiscite to determine Polish or German ownership. The German city and district of Memel goes to Lithuania to provide that new state with a Baltic port. Minority problems arise at once, with Poles and Germans occupying many of the same districts. Poles come under German rule, Germans under Polish rule. As another humiliation, Germany admits she started the war. To indemnify the Allies in money and materials for all the damage caused is also added in the treaty. The money indemnity alone amounting to $31 billion. Germany is compelled to limit her army and navy and to abolish conscription. The Reich has been stripped of her wealth, her colonies, and her power. The first job of the peace conference is done. The Allied powers ratify the treaty. President Wilson returns to the United States and tours the country seeking to arouse public opinion in its favor. He pleads in vain. Aware of the document's faults and entanglements, Congress rejects the treaty and the League of Nations. Meanwhile, additional pacts lop territory of other defeated states. The treaties of Saint-Germain, Neuilly, and Trianon deal with Austria-Hungary and Bulgaria. The new state of Czechoslovakia already has declared its independence. Bohemia and Moravia, the bases of this state, contain 3 million Germans. To include them will affront the principles of self-determination. To exclude them, it is thought will fatally weaken the new republic. So a compromise bounds Czechoslovakia by the mountain ranges of ancient Bohemia. Thus, Czechoslovakia not only includes a German, but also a Hungarian minority. Yugoslavia, which also has declared its independence, presents another difficult problem. It combines Serbia with Bosnia and Herzegovina, plus land inhabited by Croats and Slovenes. The boundary with Austria is settled by plebiscites. But the bordering territory of Istria and the nearby territory of the southern Tyrol, with its population of 400,000 Austrians, become the pawns of expediency, for they are handed over to Italy, starting more minority problems. Fiume becomes a free city like Danzig, but thus little Serbia becomes great and finally gains access to the sea. Romania presents more minority problems. She demands Transylvania, where Hungarians jostle Romanians, and the treaty makers finally give it to her. Thus another million Hungarians are alienated from their homeland. Moreover, the former Russian territory of Bessarabia, which has voted for union with Romania following the Bolshevik uprising, is allowed to continue as Romanian territory. So Romania expands greatly by the war. Bulgaria adds her quota of minority troubles. By the Treaty of Neuilly, she is forced to yield territory to Romania, Yugoslavia, and Greece. After further negotiations, Greece also takes over Bulgaria's Aegean coastline, leaving the little kingdom a landlocked nation. The boundary between Austria and Hungary is determined by plebiscite, and the dual monarchy is split into separate independent nations. By these treaties, Austria is limited to a small landlocked territory. The fears of Franz Joseph are realized, and the disintegration of the great dual monarchy is complete. Finally, there is Turkey. The first peace treaty, that of Sèvres, leaves her little more than Anatolia. Its terms are so drastic that the rising Turkish nationalists refuse to accept it. But the Allies are tired of fighting, and so Greece alone goes to war with Turkey to enforce the pact. Greece can't beat the sick man of Europe, however, and so in 1923, the Treaty of Lausanne is drawn up. Its terms are harsh, but less so than those of its predecessor. In Europe, the old Turkish provinces of Constantinople, Eastern Thrace, and Gallipoli remain in Turkish hands, while in Asia, in addition to Anatolia, Turkey retains Cilicia and Adelia. But Syria goes to France. Palestine goes to England under mandate system. Most of the Dodecanese islands go to Italy, and from other Turkish territory, 3 semi-independent Arab states arise under the protection of England. They are Iraq, Transjordania, and the Hejaz. With the signing of this treaty, the First World War is officially over. Further disputes or ramifications are referred to the League of Nations. Summer 1923, a new Europe, a hopeful world, a prospect of enduring peace. But already tomorrow's leaders are toiling and scheming, for jealousies and hatreds still smolder in the hearts of men. These leaders will fashion new armies to replace the old. They will regiment whole peoples for conquest and revenge. For the new map of Europe is hastily and in places roughly drawn. The task of the peacemakers is not done. Europe's history does not end at Versailles. The ultimate effect of the World War awaits the question mark of the future.
So that guy just yelled at an animated map for 20 minutes. Holy cow, what a mess. You can see the mess. It's in, anybody who knows 20th century history knows it was a big mess. Smushing these we'll put these countries together. We'll pull these apart. We'll pull these together. Pull these apart. We'll do this over here. And then, yeah. Big mess. Big mess. So who was this? I have to look it up. I'm sorry. No, that's not how I spell it. So Tim Kelly sent me this image last night. I got a lot of good images yesterday, so thank you for that. In regards to the April Fool's show, where it was Stapler Geeks, he sent this Alien versus Predator. Alien being a stapler, a very stylish stapler, and then the Predator being a staple remover. So that's what we think of world history. Was immediately change the subject and talk about something else. All right, so this is a family film, religious film company that cranked out a bunch of not biblical stories. Like they did a little bit of that, of recreating stories from the Bible, but mostly what they did is kind of take things from the Bible and kind of play them out with the nuclear family. So they're almost like sitcoms, and I think some of these actually ran on television at some point. But it features some character actors and some people you're like, I know who that is. And then I think it was actually shot on sets of some TV studios. So here is Unto Thyself Be True. Enjoy.
As the pulse of modern living quickens in this fast-moving world, the problems of American life grow more and more complex. Particularly do our police departments throughout the land carry a heavy share of the many tasks that challenge every one of us from day to day. And protection cover many phases of action. The more violent crimes require the attention of specialists. But there are other problems, not quite so grave, that call for a different type of handling. Step inside, won't you? Here's the file on the Hartwell case, Burton. You see, our ultimate aim is to free the police department and leave matters such as these to you.
Well, we've had a good start, haven't we? And after all, as a representative of the Interfaith Religious Council, my job is to help prevent situations like the Hartwell incident.
Of course, we're overburdened as it is with real criminal matters.
During the short period that our educational and religious groups have worked with the police, we've kept a lot of youngsters from making more serious mistakes.
Our efforts are worth it if we can save just one youngster from getting mixed up.
Yes. Now let's have all the facts in this Hartwell case.
Apparently, the boy comes from a very good family. They live in a very nice home over in the southwest section of the city.
Frank, come back here a minute, dear.
All right, Helen, what is it now? I'll be late again today. Why do you always have to think of last-minute things?
If you weren't so busy with your own thoughts, there wouldn't be so much fuss around here.
Daddy, please don't forget your promise.
Oh, now, don't worry, darling. I've already ordered that new sweater and scarf combination. Do I ever disappoint you?
No, Daddy.
Frank, yesterday you promised to bring home the supplies from the 5 and 10 for the Joneses' barbecue Saturday. That's tomorrow, remember? Are you going to forget again today?
Why don't you stop nagging, Helen? I've told you that I'll take care of everything. Bye now. Now, is that all? Can I go to work now?
Oh, Dad, I don't mean to delay you, but what about my temporary driver's permit?
We'll talk about that some other time.
But, Frank, you promised the boy.
I know.
Then why do you keep putting it off week after week? This is important to Bill, though it may not mean much to you.
Now, look here, all of you. This is the limit. Can't I ever get to work in the morning without holding a convention? And as for you, Bill, I'll admit that I promised to apply for your driver's permit. But if you want to know the truth, I don't think you're entitled to it.
Why not? What have I done?
Nothing. That's just the trouble. Nothing. You're told to mow the lawn. Do you do it? No. I ask you to polish the car. You do a half-baked job, or not at all, or when it suits your own convenience.
Right, please.
And what's more...
But, Dad, I'm doing the best I can. I've got homework and other things on my mind. And besides, a fella's got to have some time for fun, too.
Sure, I know. You've always got alibis. And you, dear, you certainly are no help. Always backing him up when I'm trying to make a man of him. Now, goodbye, everybody. I'll bring the barbecue things at noon, and as for you, get the cellar cleaned. It's about time that we put the tool shelves up and got the workbench in shape. I'll see you all later. And please, let's have a little peace and quiet around here. Thank you, dear. Goodbye.
Mom, you don't think Dad was serious about my driver's permit? He wouldn't let me down, would he?
Go on into the living room, Bill. I want to talk to you a little later. Here, Sarah. Run down to the grocer's and get these things for me.
Now?
Yes, Sarah, now. In the kitchen, you'll find a box of eggs. A couple of them are cracked. Tell Mr. Miller to exchange them.
Okay, Mother.
Well, Bill, did you get any ideas about your Father's Day present?
Sure, Mom, see?
How much have you saved so far?
$3.75.
Another $2 and you're all set?
Sure, another $2. And I can pick that up in no time. Gosh, Mom, what's the matter with Dad? Why is he always picking on me lately?
Maybe he's just upset a little.
He never used to be that way.
Well, you know how people get sometimes. Besides, your dad has your welfare at heart. I know he has.
But I don't think he likes me. Or what is it?
I'm sure you're only imagining things.
Gosh, Mom, I almost forgot. I gotta go to work.
The cellar?
Well, no, that is not yet. Miss Carter promised me 75 cents if I'd wash her car.
But, Bill, suppose you don't get the cellar.
Don't worry, Mom. I've got it all figured out. And besides, she said if I changed the tire, she'd give me an extra 2 bits.
Oh, Bill, be sure to change to your real old clothes.
Don't worry, Mom. I will. Gosh, I forgot to call Arthur Franklin. Cut the fooling around, will you, Art? I asked you to help me, not play games.
Did your pop get you the beginner's permit?
Nah, first it's yes, then it's no. Then it's yes, then no. Gosh, I don't know where I stand.
But we are going to have the car tomorrow for the church picnic, aren't we?
Yeah, but you'll have to drive if I don't get my permit.
So I'll drive. My license is good.
Just tell the kids we pick them up.
They're counting on us.
Boy, we'll look pretty important driving to the picnic.
That'll be half the fun. Say, I got to be getting home for lunch. You coming over to the ball field this afternoon?
No, I'm supposed to clean the cellar. Or Pop will raise the roof.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow then.
Okay, I'll call you when I'm ready.
Okay.
So long, and thanks.
Bill, the cellar. You better get started.
I'll be through in a minute. Hello, Dad. Look, I'm getting along swell. Magazines? Junkman ought to pass a couple of bucks for them.
It should be finished by now.
I know, but you see...
No, I don't see.
Dad, if I could only explain. I had to do a little job for Mrs. Carter.
So Mrs. Carter's work is more important than mine.
Dad, you don't understand. There's something special I'm saving for.
I've lost all patience with you, and I've warned you time and again. Well, there won't be any more warnings. Maybe this will be a lesson for you. You can't have the car tomorrow for the picnic.
But, Dad, I promised my friends. How can I tell them? Aw, shucks. Sunday School Juniors Picnic, Saturday, July 10th, Woodland Park. Sports, games, baseball, prizes. Free dinner at noon. No car. What a deal. Breaks his promise. use this money for myself. I'll show him. Don't come over tomorrow till I phone you. No, there's no change in our plans, and nothing went wrong. Right, tomorrow.
Are you sure, Sarah, you don't want to go to the picnic?
Oh, I'm sure. I'd much rather go to the barbecue with you and Daddy.
Oh, that's the Blakes calling for us now. Oh, Frank! Frank, hurry, dear.
All right, I'm ready. Let's go. And Helen, if I get talking to Blake, try not to interrupt if you can help. I'm trying to work out a little business deal with him.
Yes, I know. Don't worry. Now, don't be too late getting home, Bill.
I won't, Mom. Goodbye.
Come, Sarah.
And remember, no car.
Hello, Art. It's me. Hike it over on the double.
What are we starting so early for? I was just getting up when you called.
Never mind, let's shove off.
But we don't have to meet the other kids for an hour.
We'll wait, but not here. Come on, step on it.
What'd you make me stop for?
I'll take over now.
But you didn't get your permit. Or did you?
Stop yakking like an old lady. You give a guy the jitters.
But what if you get stopped?
Who's getting stopped? And for what? Come on, change places. Jumping catfish.
Let's see what we did.
Sit tight. Didn't you hear what we did? Shut the door. You get out here and meet the kids and go on to the picnic. I'll be there later.
But aren't we going to report the accident?
Who knows about it but us?
I don't want any part of this.
You will be part of it if you don't shut up. And you don't know anything, see?
I never saw you act like this, Bill. What are you afraid of?
Skip it, Art. Just get out and get going. And remember, not a word to anybody.
mind, dear. Run on upstairs. What's that hammering?
Bill! Bill! Is that you down there?
Yeah, it's me.
Come on up here.
I wonder if anything could have gone wrong.
How's that? What's wrong?
Hi, have a good time?
Bill, how come you home before us?
Well, you see, I decided the last minute to stay home so I could finish the job on the shelves.
Why all this sudden enthusiasm for work?
What's wrong if I do some work? It's wrong if I do, it's wrong if I don't.
Frank, why are you so unfair to Bill?
I tell you, that boy is acting strangely.
Well, I think it's you who's acting strangely. This peculiar treatment of yours isn't doing our son any good, no matter what your hidden reasons or motives might be.
Now look here, Helen. There's only one of us can set the policy around here. We can't have two generals. It's either you or me.
And besides, a fellow's gotta have time for some fun, too.
Sure, I know. You've always got alibis. And you, dear, you certainly are no help. Always backing him up when I'm trying to make a man of him.
Gosh, Mom, what's the matter with Dad? Why's he always picking on me lately?
Maybe he's just out of sorts a little.
Maybe this will be a lesson for you. You can't have the car tomorrow for the picnic.
Dad, I promised the kids. How can I tell them?
Must have been some dream, son. Terry and the Pirates or Superman.
Much worse. Even Pop was in it.
Well, you'd better sleep a little later tomorrow.
I can't, Mom. I'll be late for Sunday school.
Oh, how silly. I almost forgot tomorrow's Sunday. I tell you what, I'll wake you in time and we'll have hot waffles for breakfast. How's that?
Swell idea. Mom, with melted butter and maple syrup like last week, only double it.
Sure, double it.
How do you do? Is this the Hartwell residence?
Yes?
I'm Lieutenant Van Sickman of the police department. I'd like to speak to Mr. Hartwell, please.
Certainly. Come in, please. Oh, Frank.
Yeah?
This is Lieutenant Van Sickman.
How do you do?
You're Frank Hartwell?
Yes.
Your automobile was involved in an accident yesterday, and it wasn't reported to the police.
Impossible. You're mistaken.
Well, it could be an error, but I doubt it.
Well, that's ridiculous. My car wasn't out of the garage yesterday.
Take it easy, Frank.
If you don't mind, dear, I'll handle this.
Well, someone drove it. I'm not accusing you, but a witness reported 2 young boys in the front seat.
That's ridiculous.
That same witness took down your license number after a crash on Willow Drive. I've just come from the police laboratory. Samples of paint from the damaged car and your rear bumper match identically.
Bill, come here. When were you snooping around my garage?
We checked your car for evidence at 6 this morning. Lose no time, you know.
Did you drive the car yesterday?
Me? Yesterday? The car? No, it wasn't me.
Who was it?
Nobody, I don't know. What are you blaming me for? I don't even know what you're talking about.
You're lying and you know it.
You're always hounding me. Why don't you leave me alone?
This doesn't look good, Mr. Hartwell. There's more at stake here than appears on the surface.
What do you mean?
That boy of yours, he's tied up in a knot. I'd like to have a talk with him. Do you mind?
No. No, of course not. Helen, would you get Billy, please? All this beats me.
So you see, Billy, there's still some paint left on that bumper. Come on now. You needn't be afraid to confide in me.
Well, okay then, the car was out. But it wasn't me who did the driving because I don't have a license.
I see. Who did do the driving, Billy?
He's a sort of friend of mine.
And you don't want to give him away, huh?
You wouldn't want me to snitch, would you?
Well, I wouldn't exactly call it snitching. It's just telling the truth.
Okay, then. It was Arthur Franklin. I've known him for years. He's all right, but...
I think I understand everything, son. We'll talk about this some more. Take it easy.
How did I know that Bill was saving up his money to buy me a present?
Would that make any difference in the way an understanding father should treat his son?
No, of course not. It shouldn't. What a fool I've been. Fine father I am.
I tried to explain to you, Frank.
Now this thing with the police.
What time is it?
Nearly 2.
We promised we'd be down at police headquarters by 2:30. Come on, Frank.
I think your plan for handling the Hartwell situation is most intelligent.
It's time for them now. Send Mr. and Mrs. Hartwell in, Brown. Oh, come in, folks. How are you, Mr. and Mrs. Hartwell? I'm glad to see you.
Thank you.
I'd like you to know Mr. Burton.
Mr. Burton?
How do you do? I'm glad to know you.
Won't you folks sit down, please?
Thank you.
The boy.
It was all my fault. I drove the car, and I caused the accident, too. Gosh, I don't know why I let myself tell all those lies.
He's really a good boy. Never been in any trouble, and he certainly didn't mean harm. Please try to understand.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. Understanding is the answer to all this. Folks, Mr. Burton is a member of the Interfaith Religious Council. He and I have been working together. We've found in problems like yours, all we need is a chance to meet and talk it out. It's good for the soul. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going out for a while and leave the 4 of you alone.
You know, it's only been a few years since we've realized how to handle matters like this. The real causes of law violations are often controllable, and real trouble can be nipped in the bud. As a religious counselor, I can take up where the police leave off. In cases like yours, young man, try to look at it this way. You really violated one of the commandments, in that you bore false witness against your neighbor. In this instance, your friend, Arthur Franklin. But worse than that, you were untrue to yourself. A far more serious error. Youngsters in particular should feel free and without fear to consult with their parents. Lies, even little white lies, never pay off. Son, would you mind stepping outside now? As for you, Mr. and Mrs. Hartwell, I'd like to suggest that we might well consider a newer commandment. Honor thy children. By closing your hearts and channels of understanding, you see how easy it is to break the bonds of confidence between yourselves and your God-given offspring. The lies that Bill concocted were born of frustration. He has suffered because of them. And so have you, Mr. Hartwell. Above all, let us be true to ourselves. Then, as surely as the night follows the day, will we be true to each other.
So the dad seems so familiar to me, and I was like, why does that seem familiar? And so I realized that he shows up as a doctor in a film called Know For Sure, which is a film about venereal disease. And here he is.
Those are the facts about syphilis and its dangers. But why let syphilis get started? You can't have syphilis or gonorrhea unless you expose yourself to the germ. If you're smart, you'll keep away from prostitutes and pickups. Most of them have syphilis or gonorrhea. They're not safe, and they can't be made safe. As you leave the room, there will be someone waiting at the door to pass out folders containing further information about venereal diseases. They will answer almost any question that comes to your mind about syphilis or gonorrhea.
So, what's interesting about that particular film is that there's two versions of that film. And there's one version where he says prostitutes and pickups aren't safe and they can't be made safe. The next scene is him saying, use a rubber. And then there's this whole thing about like they showing putting a condom on this metal rod. And then they go back to there's pamphlets that you can pick up in the lobby of this theater. So yeah, anyways, Dad, Billy, is basically knows about prostitutes and pickups and how they're not safe. Yeah, like I said, family films used a lot of character actors and a lot of actors who then later on went on into television stuff or, you know, other films or whatever, because they were based in, I think, in LA, so they could pull from lots of talent there, both cinematic talent and also acting talent and production talent, etc. Thanks for tuning in today. It was a mixed bag of stuff, which I love. If you like what you saw, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Those are great ways to support us. Other ways to support us would be financially by contributing via the Super Thanks button or going to ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are other ways to support us because we have basically $2,000 a month in storage fees that we are paying for all these films. And we're happy to show them to you, but yeah, that's something that we have to pony up for. So whatever you can contribute will help. So tomorrow, some people will have tomorrow off. I'm going to be working. So we'll see you tomorrow if you're around. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. Everybody take care, and we'll see you soon.